Hello and welcome everyone to Explorers of Elsewhere's Elysia Rising finale. We have gathered here today to pay our condolences to a city on the brink of death. But even as the bell tolls for her impending demise, I am faced with 5 individuals that would see the story end ever so slightly differently. Hello, it's good to see you all.
Hello.
Yes, this is the... Well, we're live. We're not live. We're in person. This is a thing. And hopefully it's going to go absolutely grand. We have had 19 sessions that have led to this point. There have been a number of tales that we expected to tell. There are a number of tales that we weren't expecting to tell, but they have all led us to this point. So, with that in mind, who would like to jump in?
Yay! Yeah.
Welcome to Elysia, the jewel of the north. On our gilded streets, fortune and fame can be found by anyone.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Magpie, an ace of our lurk.
Hi, I'm Nate, and I'm playing Cavern, a dragon-scent slide.
Hi, I'm Meg. I'm playing Frida, a wolfkin cutter.
Hi, I'm JC, and I'll be playing Algernon, an Asavar spider.
Hello, I'm Errol. I am playing Atta, a goblin whisperer.
And my name is DM Dan. I will be the games master on this adventure.
So come on in and marvel at our wonders. Make sure you see the beautiful views we have to offer, and don't mind the ghosts. They're friendly, really. Grab yourselves a seat and make yourselves welcome in the city of Elysia.
This is the story of the fall and rise of Elysia. A promise uttered at the beginning of our tale, in an Elysia very much different to the one we find ourselves in now. Our tale has followed a group of 5 criminals who found themselves in the eye of the storm, doing all they could to stack the odds in their favour as they struggled to survive in a conflict on many fronts between the various factions of the city. Through a journey of heartbreak, celebration, anticipation and trepidation, our crew finds themselves deep underground in the physical centre of the city, in opposition of Nephinae and Turia Valenmar, whose plans would see Elysia's fate hastened to her cataclysmic conclusion. Perhaps their defiance is futile, but Elysians are not ones to accept their enemies' victories laying down. All stories come to an end, and this is the end of the story of the fall and rise of Elysia. And so, we find the 5 of you having embarked on your mission at the same time as your companions from the crew who formed the B team, as you've delved into the depths of the city of Elysia, deep, like below the sewers, into the tunnels that lie underneath. Thanks to the acceptance of the invitation from Nephinae, Algernon's secret little invitation, which you RSVP'd to in a positive manner, I assume, you've been given directions on where you need to go, but perhaps not to Nephinae's knowledge, you have been accompanied by, amazingly, Songbird and Velka, who have brought with them a small cohort of their finest of the marionettes and the kindling. And so as the five of you and your gathered allies delve deeper and deeper into Elysia, deeper than any of you have ever ventured before, hoping that the deception of Algernon's acceptance to sit alongside Nephinae will hold up. We need to make an engagement roll. We've already acknowledged that the point of ingress is one of deception. So we start off, as we always do, with a 1 dice engagement roll.
Oh boy.
And let's have a quick look for engagement roll. You'd have thought after 20 sessions, I would know this one now. This is proof that we're doing it in person. Anyhow, planning an engagement, right? So yes, you are attempting to trick Nephinae. So the method of deception was the invite. So, is the operation particularly bold or daring?
I mean,
No.
It's make or break.
it's only, the fate of the entire city and everyone that lives in it.
And 10,000 rats.
And
I'm going to say yes, it is particularly bold or daring. So we are up to 2 dice. Does this plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? Theoretically, yes, in so much as you're relying on Nephinae's pride and expectation that she knows best. However, you're also going into the unknown. So I'm going to also counteract that so that's just cancelled out. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for the operation? Whilst you are accompanied by the marionettes and the kindling, they are as in the dark as you are. So we'll say nothing for that. And are there any other elements you want to consider? Maybe a lower tier target will give you +1 dice, a higher tier will give you -1 dice.
I think
do it.
I think that's something for you to consider, and that is you're not hidden behind a webcam, mate. We're right in this room, so if you don't start being nice to us, we're gonna come over there and get you.
Yeah, well.
Would the fact that many sessions ago we mapped various tunnels using rats help us in any way?
Oh, good point.
You know what?
That's a bit
I mean, we've been down in those sewers a fair few times
You know
now.
what? I think it will.
Good
And
job.
then the higher tier target reduces your power. So, this is a 2 dice engagement roll.
Ooh, squeaky
And
bum
I
time.
think, as this is all part of the plan, it is down to JC and Algernon to make the roll.
2 red dice, 2 red eyes.
Ooh.
Is that a 6?
Six.
That's
Yeah.
a 6 and a 2.
Okay, so if you fetch your dice out, that is a success. So you are in a controlled position
That's great.
at the start
It's a good roll.
of the score. So, curiously, as you descended past the sewers, using the rat maps that you mapped out for the prison break score to kind of pick out the safer approaches, perhaps, or the more secure approaches, the tunnels immediately beneath the sewers are, as you saw during the prison break, quite kind of rough-hewn, a little bit kind of ill-maintained. They look like tunnels that have been kind of excavated for purpose alone, rather than any sort of form of presentation or purpose, like the sewers. But the lower you go, you notice that rough rock and stone starts to get replaced with ruined masonry. You see pavement, like paved stones beneath your feet. You see the hints of shattered columns lining the sides of the tunnel as you go down. And the further you go, the better repaired the state of the tunnels you find. Until the tunnels lead you to a large, cavernous area. Far larger than you would expect to find beneath the streets of Elysia. And as the five of you and Velka and Songbird and the others kind of glance around, you can see these soaring columns, kind of curved columns rising from the floor to the ceiling approximately 60 feet up. The columns then sort of like turning into arches from towards the tapered roof at the center of this cavern. And you notice that across these columns there are small flickers of light which give the area this ominous, foreboding aura. And as you look, the pathway slopes down slightly as it reaches into the center of the cavern towards what appears to be a large hexagonal building of sorts. It looks about 40-50 feet across, and it is made of a surprisingly clean, given the conditions around it, a surprisingly clean white stone. The path that you're on leads down to what appears to be a large metallic, almost like a heavy iron wrought door. And Atta, as you glance around, you notice that being a goblin, and Elysia was crafted primarily by goblin architects. The stone looks completely set. There looks nothing like anything you've seen in Elysia before. And you notice, as you squint, you notice that carved into the pillars that kind of hold up, that line the walls of this hexagonal building, there appear to be runic inscriptions, like large runes carved into the sides. And they are also of a language, of a text that you've never seen before. But all five of you take one look at this white stone building and acknowledge it is alien in origin. It is not of this place. And you can't think who might have constructed it or when it was constructed. As you head down, follow the sloping path down towards the large kind of gold, it's a slightly brassy iron coloured door, and as you approach, you see a number of individuals carrying lanterns turn to look up at you, and even from this kind of distance you notice that they're dressed in fine, expensive clothing, but they're also immediately identifiable by the silver animal masks that they wear covering their faces. And as the two of them turn to look to you, one of them, the more slender of the two, shouts, "Halt! Who goes there?"
It's Lord Algernon Caldwelder, my good man. I've come for the party.
The two figures look to one another, and you see them whispering, and "Yes, Lady Nephinae's been waiting for you. Please, we're about to. The ritual is already begun." I say.
Very well. And will you fine specimens be joining us?
The larger of the two, yes, we're just making sure that everyone arrives promptly and on time. And there's a slight inflection in his voice as if to say, hurry up. As who of you is visible as this is said? Because Algernon, you are acutely aware that your invitation was for you and you alone. Is it just you that stepped out to answer them, or are you accompanied by
I think
others?
so. I would have instructed my friends to keep the ruse up as long as possible. So it's up to my crew how visible they want to be and where.
Okay.
Would it be helpful if, because I think it would be reasonable for you to have Frida along as the muscle to make sure that you could get down there in one piece, sort of like your hired muscle. So I could be just keeping an eye, sort of arms crossed,
Yeah, eye muscle. Okay, so what about Cavern? Where do we find Cavern?
I think I'd probably be hanging back as well.
Yeah.
I'd be hanging back away from sight.
Atta?
Hanging back, try and hide.
Magpie?
I feel like Magpie is also hiding, but isn't necessarily with Atta and Cavern.
Okay.
I think she's probably trying to get into an advantageous position without being spotted.
Might I suggest then that Cavern and Atta, you are joined by Velka and the Kindling, and you are joined, Magpie, by Songbird and Marionette.
That makes sense.
Okay, so Algernon, as you step forward with Frida, your personal security, you know that there are two groups that are kind of splitting apart behind you. So can I assume that Cavern and Atta are kind of near the entrance to the cavern, and then the marionettes are the ones sneaking up? Okay. In which case, as you approach, as you head down the slope with Frida, Algernon, the smaller of the two turns to you and, where's your mask?
Oh, I was under the assumption I'd receive one upon entry.
They look to one another, and I'll allow me to speak with Lady Nephinae. I'm sure it won't be a problem.
Am I allowed to make a request?
Of course.
Perhaps a rat?
She, so the noble, tilts their head. You can't see a frown or facial expressions, but a curious choice, but let me ask. And they kind of turn, head up there's a small flight of steps, maybe 4 or 5 steps, and then they push this sort of large iron door open just enough to be able to slip through. So these iron doors are now slightly ajar, and the larger noble just kind of stands looking you up and down. You get the impression that perhaps Frida, this larger chap, is also physically the muscle of this duo.
I'm absolutely subtly squaring up to him a little bit, just getting that bodyguard stance on,
Okay. And as he sort of looks you up and down, he then turns to you, Algernon, and I never thought that something like this would be possible. Who knew that there was a world beyond this one?
Well, there have been theories knocking around for a while. I've had my own on multiple occasions.
He nods, and it's a marvel what House Antelir is going to afford us. The joys, the reward that we're owed. It's a thing of beauty. And there's a very contented sigh. You wait for a slightly awkward period of time. Nothing seems to be really happening. You don't see the first individual come back out from the door. Are any of our waiting groups trying anything out?
how big is the... In comparison to our team, is there anybody that is the same height as the one that's with Algi? Like similar height?
I see what you mean. What you mean is sort of like a kindling that's physically...
Or any of us. Like, are they sort of built the same as Cavern or Frida, height-wise, build-wise, under whatever they're wearing?
I mean, there can be.
Okay.
Absolutely can be. What's the idea? What's the plan you've got?
The idea is that when the one comes back with the mask, we take the outfits and we... somehow.
Okay. Okay, so, yeah, you can absolutely kind of...
Hey, Catherine, I think we should take their outfits.
Yeah, I mean, they're all right, but... the threads I'm usually no, right, yeah.
Songbird whispers to you, Magpie. I reckon if we go round, we can slide around the sides of the building, so whenever that scrawny one comes back out, we can jump him.
Magpie just nods.
Okay. In which case, would you like to prowl over to a ready position?
I'd love to.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to start you. Luckily, so the engagement role of say is kind of put you in a control position. That said, you are kind of moving around the line of sight of like a sentry. Luckily, they're being interfered with by Algon and Frida, like his attention's being diverted. So I'm going to start you on a risky standard.
Risky standard.
Yes. And
Okay.
then Songbird will join in with you. So this will be for all of you. But would you, and you can take, if Frida or Algernon want to really draw attention, you can absolutely help for a stress.
Can I help by sort of like, you know, if I'm sort of the bodyguard squaring up, like, you know, looking me up and down, I'm going to look him up and down and go, hey, don't I know you from somewhere?
The muscle turns to you and yeah, if you're happy to mark down a stress.
Yeah.
Can I have another die for that?
That is another dice.
And I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I know you from somewhere. You're at Jacasta's place, weren't you, the other week? You know, in the, you know, having a scrap. I saw you, and yeah, I remember. Yeah, you did all right. You held your own there.
Well, so that takes Frida up to 5 stress.
And yeah, just help with that distraction,
so is that
you know.
a 4 dice roll.
4 dice.
Do you want to switch to a desperate great
No.
for free?
No.
No.
Okay.
Do it.
I don't need the XP.
Okay. Roll them bones.
Oh, I've lost my mic. It's a 6.
Oh boy.
It's a 6. Okay, so that is a success. Frida, as you grab this fellow's attention, Algernon, you watch as this group of 6, Magpie, Songbird, and 4 others, just begin to slide round, and they it's almost like watching 5 shadows just creep across this cavern towards the large white stone structure. As you sneak round, Algernon, you hear the sounds of footsteps approaching from inside, and the more slight of the two re-emerges, carrying 2 rat-shaped silver masks. And Lady Nephinae found your request somewhat amusing, Lord Cadwallader, but
She has a great sense of humour.
he nods in agreement and hands you and Frida these kind of rat-shaped masks. We are assured that these are necessary for what is to come.
oh right, I wasn't expecting this.
And as they patiently wait for you to put the masks on, and they're surprisingly well fitted. It's kind of creepy how well they fit to your respective heads. But as you're masked up, Magpie, you can see Songbird's like eyes opening a bit, and she's kind of nodding, and you see her like draw what appears to be a small, fine punch dagger from a pocket.
I shall also draw my own blade.
Okay.
Have we declared our loadouts, by the way?
We have not. So, in a flashback, we will start with. So let's start with Cavern. What loadout are you going for?
Oh, I'm gonna go medium, I think.
Medium. Okay. And Frida.
Heavy.
I think.
Flamethrowers galore.
Yeah, I think I am gonna go heavy. I'm hired muscle. They're gonna expect me to be like, to be packing, right?
And Atta.
How much is light again? It's only 2 things.
3.
3 things.
3 weight.
Okay. 3 weight, which some things cost 2 weight, don't they?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go norm, regular as well. Norm.
Okay. And Algernon.
I think normal too.
Okay. And Magpie.
Is there any disadvantage to a sneaky character of going normal?
You're slower. You would be more readily noticed. Yeah. if
Okay,
nerve
I'll go
just
light then.
Go light. Okay.
And I would like to draw my blade or 2.
Okay. Not to worry. Not to worry.
It's normal 5.
I will.
Yeah, normal's
Normal's up to 5, I believe. Yes. I will also ask for your loadouts. We now live in a post Deeper Cuts world, and there's an idea from that expansion that kind of makes sense. So if you want to bring anything that would be very conspicuous, so fundamentally anything of weight 2 or more, I need you to declare that now. And also armor if you're wearing armor.
With the bloodletting blade.
That's a 1-er.
That's a 1. Oh, right.
if we want flamethrowers.
Yeah, what about a flamethrower?
So something like the flame bellows. That is a
Someone
weight
needs to
2.
hold a
so-
flamethrower.
Okay, I will declare a flame bellows.
Wow. That's
Yeah, sure.
Unless anyone else would like the flame
I mean,
bellows.
I can carry them because it's probably not great that you say like, I'm bringing these 2.
Now it's a party.
Would it be okay if I could sort of like hold that loadout in reserve and sort of have dropped it with, or someone else can take it? I don't know.
Well, why don't you?
I just
I'm
want- I don't care.
carrying them, definitely knowing that I'm not going to be using
Yeah,
them.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
How many numbers of a loadout would several rats be on my person?
You know what?
Like trained.
You know what? You've worked for it over the space of the campaign, so we will say handful of rats with props is a 0 loadout.
Oh.
Squeak, squeak.
Yeah, at a handful of rats.
Oh my god! I can imagine you walking them like a pack of little chihuahuas they've got little sparkly harnesses with beads on.
She's got like
you
a
know?
flasher jacket on now.
Flashes.
Yes, I think Atta's. Everyone's just accepted that Atta has some rats floating around on shoulders and
Perfect.
in pockets. Okay, so we've got some rattos, but if you wanted to turn them into explosive rattos, that would be load, I would imagine.
Okay, because demolition tools are 2. Are we expecting to demolish anything?
I mean, Nephinae and Turia?
Yeah.
I will have demolition tools on myself.
Okay.
Which is a 2.
Which is a 2-er. Okay. Grand. So, anyone else wearing armor or carrying anything particularly large?
I think maybe. How much is a heavy loadout against 4? Isn't it?
Heavy is 6+.
Should know this, but I don't. So what have I got? I've got flamethrower is 2, but I'm sort of holding that in reserve. I'll have a rage essence vial. Oh, that's 0. Oh, no, don't worry about that. Scary weapon, I'll have
heavy
one.
is 6. You look like an operative on a mission.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's fine. So, so I'll have the scary weapon or tool. So that'll be 3. I would definitely have my bloodletting blade, which is 4. Yeah, I reckon I'll stick some armor on. You know, I'd like to not get squashed again.
So you've got normal armor, which is 1, or heavy armor, which is 2.
I'll go normal armor so I can leave myself 1 free in case I need to do any flashbacks. Oh, actually, I've got this on me.
Sure. Okay, sounds good. Right, so that is our loadouts. Yes, the two of them kind of give the two of you your masks. Magpie, is this when you're jumping in with
Yeah,
Songbird?
Baby.
Okay.
Let's go.
Doing a dual takedown?
Is it a skirmish or?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes. So
Dual takedown.
dual takedown. In which case, Songbird would like to know. What, do you want to lead a group role for you and her, or do you?
Depends how good is how good does she look at skirmishing?
She's pretty good.
She's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Okay. Yeah.
Tell you what, because I can't roll dice very easily. Songbird will help you. +1 dice.
Cheers, baby.
And then we'll start this on a risky standard again.
Yeah.
Now I will, as there are 2 of them, and one of them is packing slightly. I'm going to create a clock. Front door sentries.
A 1-segment clock.
So we have a 4 clock that you'll need to, that amongst you all you'll need to fill in order to fully incapacitate.
And how? What would at a risky standard? What would we need? Would we need a 6 to fill that?
A success on a risky standard is 2 segments.
So how would you get 4? What conditions would need to be satisfied?
So a greater effect will take you up to 3. Crit will take you up to 1 on top of that. Someone else doing something else.
I have an idea.
Okay.
But do you want to do?
I'm going to do my.
I mean, Frida's there as well.
Yeah, I'm going to do my risky standards. Skirmish.
You can
with 4 dice.
You can budge that up to Desperate Great.
Desperate Great.
And that will give you 3 segments on a success.
And just take some cash severe harm. Why not?
Yeah.
It's a great time to do it at the beginning of the mission. No, I think I'm going to stick with my risky. Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
The table.
And then separately, Frida, as you see Magpie and Songbird appear from the shadows, are you going to be kind of joining in on the action after what's left?
Frida's going to try and take a sort of non-violent route, because, you know, she now feels like, after doing the squaring up and stuff like that, she's now sort of building a little bit of rapport with this bodyguard guy. You know, they're sort of reminiscing about their like fighting days.
That I'm coming out to
like
shank.
Late game romance.
I thought you were shanking the like 2 with the masks.
Oh, is that right?
No, well, the 2 includes the bodyguard.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait.
The one that you
There's
are
2
building
connections.
such a sweet connection with right now.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Fuck it. We'll shank him.
Okay. So roll.
So I think as you come behind, I'm just gonna we're talking
Give him a little
normally.
wink.
Oh yeah, you know, blah 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 blah, and then I'm just gonna like gut punch him. So like as he goes forwards, you can and like springs back up, you can just go.
Well, we'll see. Let's see what
Okay.
state Songbird and Magpie
Right.
leave these 2 in.
Okay.
So 4 dice, Desperate Great, Skirmish.
No, I said I'd stick with risky standard.
Oh, you're sticking with Risk Sound.
Yes,
okay.
please.
Okay.
It's a 3, so it's technically a fail.
That is a fail.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, as the 2 of you sort of like emerge from the shadows, as Songbird sort of like surges forward to get at your hired muscle chap that you're speaking to, a bit of debris slips underfoot and the sound of rock tumbling echoes, and the figure sort of like turns to look at these two that are kind of mid-lunge, and they drop. So they're going to drop into defensive positions, and the hired muscle is going to shout that intruders, like the enemy, is here.
Can I
Would like to resist.
Can I actually, can I do the resist? Because I've got bodyguard, so...
Oh, you're allowed to do the resist.
So
okay.
when I protect, if it counts as protection, if I protect a teammate, I can take 1d to a resistance roll.
I don't know if this is protecting a teammate because he's not attacking anyone.
Oh, okay. Or is there a way I can interrupt an attacking first and just like land a,
I mean, I'm happy to resist. So do a prowess resist.
Yeah. Okay. So also, I should remind you all that the crew is now forged in the fire, so you all get 1 dice extra on resistance rolls.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, that was our perk, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
So if you would like to...
4 dice resist for me, I believe.
A 4 dice resist?
Because
correct?
I've got 3 pips in prowess, 3 skills pipped in prowess.
Yeah, correct. And you, if you succeed on this, then they'll know that you're here, but they won't manage to get the alarm
Raise the
off.
alarm. That's quite useful.
So you'll buy yourself a little bit of time.
Sure. So that's a 4. So I take 2 stress?
2 stress. Okay. So, as Songbird stumbles, like her foot slips out from her and she loses just a crucial few inches of space, Magpie, you kind of have to barrel in to kind of cover for her. And as you leap forward, have you got your rapier?
No, something smaller.
Something
than that.
smaller, okay.
Maybe I've got my rapier.
Well, so you've gone for the smaller of the two, but then realising that the large one's about to shout out, you've had to run forward and effectively punch in the throat to stop him from calling out.
Wow.
But he sort of staggers back, coughing and spluttering, and the smaller, like the actual noble you suspect, kind of looks and lets out a little squeak of surprise. But they are fully aware of your presence, and sort of like the other marionettes begin to filter out. Frida, you're in the middle of what is about to be a very loud confrontation. What do you do?
So I'm just gonna take the first one in front of me. So the big bodyguard dude, he's gonna get a punch to the face with the brass knuckles, as you go up into his throat, I'm there at his temple, to try and knock him out.
In which case, that sounds like a skirmish.
It sounds like a skirmish, doesn't
skirmish.
it? Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to suggest that you are now... Realistically, I have to immediately elevate you all to desperate straight away, because time is very much of the essence.
Yeah.
So, we're going to start you on a desperate standard.
Desperate standard.
Does anyone, so Magpie, Algernon, want to help out? For a stress?
Yes.
Mr. McNo stress over here.
Oh, I'm not sure I can afford it.
Oh dear.
Yes, so after hearing Songbird cock up, Algernon goes to the noble who has just given us the masks.
Mm-hmm.
Don't I know you from somewhere as well?
Okay, so that'll be enough to make him turn and look to you and distract him for a moment.
Jolly boating weather.
Okay, so in which case there'll be a hard pivot from the noble. Doesn't want to give you too much time and attention because what looks to be 2 knife murderers have just appeared from the shadows. But that'll be enough for an extra dice or an extra effect, and 1 stress for Algernon. So take it to 1.
Murder sister.
But you're on desperate greater already, aren't you?
Yeah, but if I add another dice, then I've got more chance of
Yeah.
getting that. Yeah. So let's do
extra
4 dice.
But you
Nice.
can't raise the effect because it's already a greater, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so we're on desperate standards.
Oh,
so you
That's
can,
standard.
So you could raise the effect instead.
You have
think
3 dice.
We've already had one failure, so it would be good to get some kind of success on the click,
Yeah.
I think.
So let's
More
go,
dice.
yeah, quantity over.
okay,
Yeah, alright.
okay.
You ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh,
two
there's
fives.
2 5s.
Yeah.
2 5s, so that is a partial success. So I will. It's a standard effect, so that is 2 pips on the clock. I will, as a complication, the skirmish is overheard. Like reinforcements will arrive. But you've got your 2 segments. You can resist if you like, and that will, it will remain stumm.
Resist is 2 stress, isn't it?
No, resist is
However much you roll.
for you. This would be a 4 dice resistance roll with the crew back up, and then you take the highest result off 6.
Oh, okay.
So basically, if you don't roll a 4 or more, you trauma out.
I trauma out. Well, that's a
Roll 5
risk,
trauma.
isn't it?
Unless
Shit.
someone else wants to step in, so Algernon or Magpie can step in to take the resistance roll instead.
Do we resist or do we just let the reinforcements come because we're gonna plow through them anyway?
Maybe. I feel like our stealthy ruse might come to an end pretty soon anyway.
Yeah.
Allow it to
I've got
happen.
the fire bellows on me. The very first hurdle.
Throw it.
Somebody who's not there can't resist for somebody else, right? So yeah,
No, it has to be narratively.
somebody there.
I think maybe let's just let them come. Let them come and
Okay.
Oh, calm.
Let them come. Okay, very good. In which
Frida's
case,
gonna, sort of do the sort of thing where she throws off her jacket and then she's just got this, armor and a bloodletting blade and just a bandolier of rage essences. And
in which case, it's one fluid motion as your right fist connects with the sound of bone crunching as you connect with this large Lorivar man's jaw, Ace of Arman's jaw, and as he goes sprawling to the ground, completely loco, and there's a squeal of horror, the smaller ones you've just heard jolly boat of weather, and then as just everything's falling apart around him. He just stands and his legs start to quiver, and he's looking frantically at the 1, 2, 3, 4 of you, including Songbird. But for Cavern and Atta, you've just watched this kind of fight break out at the front door.
Yeah, right.
And as you your attentions are focused on the front door, but then in your periphery, in the gloom around the sides of the building, you start to see small flecks of reflective red light.
Uh-oh. Whoa.
And slowly but upsettingly quickly, the sound of chittering and squeaking begins to grow.
Squeaking and red boys.
As you watch as the shadows surrounding this building seemingly begin to move, and then you realise it's just the dark fur of the same vermintide that you saw during the prison break score begin to surge from around the sides of the building towards you.
Well, if that's okay, we can just feed the backup to them. It's fine.
What do the 2 of you do in this moment?
If I put the goggles on,
Yes.
soul sight goggles, do the rats look any? Can I see more of the rats?
As you pull down those lovely goggles that you've got on your head down,
I won't. Ornamental.
you notice very curiously. So I can only imagine it's a very quick peering through them. But you notice that each of the rats glows with an intensity they have no right to. There seems to be a lot of magic suffusion going on with this. So it just looks like this wave of sort of like mana moving around the sides of the buildings and beginning to close in on the marionettes, Songbird, Algernon, Frida. Yeah.
It's not hotter anywhere, right? Like, so the source can't be...
No, it just looks... Well, so it looks like, so you can... All of the rats are kind of registering as sort of magically charged. What you do notice is that the slither in the open doorway, there is a very bright light coming from inside that room, and it seems to only be getting brighter. And as you look around the room, you can see what appears to be a funnel of light coming down from the ceiling into this structure.
Right, the souls. So my idea to help them before they kicked off was going to be, if you had any trance powder on you, a little rat could go and go trance powder them, but it's kind of... What do you want to do, Catherine?
Sorry, we got a bit punchy.
Do you want to wait until they're done, Catherine, or...?
I don't think this is going to end anytime soon.
No.
I'm probably actually going to use the fire bellows to sort of try and move the rats away from us, and we may need to edge closer to them.
Okay, so yeah, for description purposes, yeah, these rats are saying they're coming round the sides of this building in the centre of this cavern. If you're heading kind of directly to the front door to join the others, yeah, you'll kind of get sandwiched between the two sides of the rat swarms, but you could absolutely use the bellows to try and fend them off. Just to keep you all on your toes, let's chuck in
No, not a rat clock.
the vermin's
Why
hide.
is the rat clock got like 5 sections?
6 actually.
6? No.
Big swarm of rats.
Yes, as the rats descend, Catherine, if you want to produce the bellows that you've declared, and you can absolutely use that. The bellows realistically are a 101 in rec.
Right.
How's
Can
your
I-
wreck?
0.
Unless you can
Well,
argue.
Atter's got some
You
rat.
have a fire starting expert.
Atter, you've got some.
with
I've
you.
got some rat.
and also, would I be able to ask Velka to help?
Okay.
Nate, just a quick note. Atter's got 2 in wreck.
I got some rack. If
Do
you want to,
throw it?
if you want to help them, I
It seems
can
like more
bellow.
your thing.
I in my head, the bellows are probably nearly as big as Atta, and when you put them on your back, there's probably only about an inch clearance of the
Can I
bottom of
hold
that.
something for you? Like,
Yeah.
and that means it's easier for you to operate.
Aww. A group wreck.
Tell you what, Vel, if you're happy to
I'm happy
step
to
forward
wreck.
and bellow. So the rats, they are definitely here. I'm going to keep you on desperate. So curiously, I'm going to start you on desperate standard. It would be a lower effect, but you've got a bit of an AOE effect going on here.
Yeah.
It's hard to miss. So we'll start you on desperate standard.
Okay.
Velka is his own person, and he's going to roll his own separate wreck.
Okay.
So he's not helping you per se, but he will be rolling. So, by my reckoning, that is you're starting on 2.
You've got my help.
Oh,
for a
yeah.
third one?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Catherine's helping hold up the bellows.
Yeah.
That's very Catherine dice. If I push myself, I won't have a lot more to work with, but it's rat time, baby.
Devil's bargain.
Oh.
First of the night. Regardless of what happens,
Whoa.
the bellows run out of fuel.
Ooh, one use.
But you could make a bloody good dent in those rats. And really, what else are we going to use the flamethrowers for?
The rest of the rats.
The rest of the mission.
I'll take your devil's
9,900
bargain
rats.
Yeah.
for an extra dice.
Okay. So is that are you pushing?
If I use the devil's bargain dice for a greater effect,
Yeah.
then I'll push myself for an extra dice so that I've got a good
Okay. And then
dice
you've got
chunk.
Catherine helping as well.
Catherine helping. Just
Okay,
take
so
them
that
out.
sounds like a 4 dice
1, 2,
desperate
3,
grade.
4. Yes. Wait, hang on.
So
Because the
2
devil's
dice.
bargain is going to affect
Yes,
on that
thank
dice.
you.
So 4 dice, desperate great.
Thank you.
Roasty toasty, roll them bones.
Oh, I 6.
6.
Oh!
It's on the cavern die. Yeah.
I helped.
Cameron, you grab the handle on top and lift it up. Okay, so on a desperate great, that is a full 3 segments of the clock. As you and like Cameron, you're not. Perhaps you're less prepared for what happens than Atta is, but there's this gout of flame that explodes outwards and carpets like a good half, a big chunk of the swarm. The sounds and the smells are horrific as this like mindless just swarm just throws itself into the flames, seemingly against their own thoughts of survival. But yeah, you're halfway done on the Vermintide clock. I said that Velka was going to roll his own stuff, so he steps forward along with his kindling, and as he sort of looks at the swarm coming from the other side, and he lifts his arms up and uncaps what appear to be 2 tubes on his wrists, and as he twists like a dial on one of the cogs on his chest pieces, and Kevin, you and Atta, you hear this high-pitched hissing begin to emanate from him, and with a click of his gauntleted fingers, a sparkle light ignites the gases and fluids coming from the nozzles on his arms as he begins torching his side.
He is the flamethrower.
He's going to roll 3, so he's got a wreck of 3, because let's be honest, he's Velka. And he's being helped by his crew, so he'll take a 4th dice. If someone could roll me a 4 dice wreck roll for Velka, please.
Catherine hasn't rolled anything yet.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Go on, Nate.
I've got my 1 tiny dice.
Ah.
You're one tiny
My
dog.
1 tiny dice.
Oh, nice.
6.
6.
Sixes and 5.
Okay. And Velka manages to torch another 3 segments of the clock.
Goodbye, rattos.
And the rats, so the scorch from both sides, the rats begin to sort of eventually the sound of the chittering dies down enough that you can't really hear it over the crackling of the flame, and they begin to sort of pull back, but you just you haven't decimated their numbers, but you have blunted this initial attack, so the Vermintide, for all intents and purposes, is now dealt with. For now. The young waif at the front door, seeing all of seeing this all happen, sort of plucks up enough courage to turn towards the door, and you see him go to shout. Who wants to step in?
20 people.
I can just
Magpie needs to shut him up forever.
Okay.
She's out for blood.
What are you rolling, Magpie?
I mean, I'm just going to skewer him, aren't I? Let's go. Skewer him with a skirmish.
Okay. So that sounds like
Desperate.
you are still in desperate. Yeah, he's about to shout and scream and holler. So we'll start you on desperate standard.
I can't change the desperate, can I? No, that's fine. In that case, I will just go for it. Just gonna attempt to skewer him.
YOLO.
Oh, sorry.
Didn't count.
2, 4,
Four.
and 4. A partial. Okay.
Partial.
So, so we start you on desperate. So you do it. That is 2 segments. So the rapier runs him through the back. As he staggers, and as your rapier pierces him through the back, and he falls forward. He holds his hands out, and as he falls, he manages to push the iron doors to this kind of sanctum area open and reveals you to everyone inside.
Whoa.
Would you like to resist? If so, he will fall against the door and then just slide down it. So again, buys you a bit of time. Let's say the Rattos have kind of been alerted to your presence, but
I feel like it would be a good idea to resist on the one hand. And on the other, if I roll less than a 4, I'm done.
I reckon we should just go in and decimate them.
No, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Sorry. Too violent.
We've got a flamethrower.
Let's just resist.
not anymore, you don't.
Yeah, of course it has. We've got a Veltner who's basically a flamethrower.
Like, do we get the impression that in this sanctum everything is popping off? Like that is Nephinae's just on the other side of this door?
I mean, yeah, we've got to interrupt that, we've got to interrupt. I mean, what an interrupt, right?
Someone else will Aragorn these doors for you if you don't resist.
I'm going to Sparta kick
Can
them.
I make it look like I meant to do that?
Okay, so you letting it happen?
Yeah? Is everyone okay with that?
Oh, like you could almost if you grab him by the front, run him through, and then just gotta push him, and then it falls back through the door
Or I can pretend that's what I meant.
yeah.
You can surf him into the... No. Okay, so it sounds like you're not resisting.
I mean, yeah, it's just we're losing opportunities to sneak in and gain an advantage.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll resist.
If you're all coming with me anyway, then that's going to blow our cover. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So this will be a prowess resist. So 3 dice normally, plus 1 for
Oh, yeah.
Fortune the Fire.
We're
4
so
dice resist.
sneaky.
Could have just sneaking around last.
I think narratively as well, if we're out there flamethrowers and punching people, they're not just sat inside oh, I wonder what's going on out there.
Could be a very loud ritual.
Yeah, it's all part of it.
I'm gonna try and resist and really hope I don't roll a 3.
Roll them bones!
Blimey.
Hey!
Okay, so no stress. So you manage to, as you run this poor oink through with your rapier, you kind of catch him enough that as he sort of falls against the door and just like a bloodied hand slides down until he kind of crumples to the ground. 2 segments on the clock is a completed clock. So you have kind of overwhelmed the sentries, and whilst your cover may be somewhat blown by the rats, you'll definitely have enough time to reconvene, especially for you and the rest of the kindling, to join the others. In which case, as the furore, the small skirmish at the front door kind of dies down, Algernon, you feel this kind of, as you kind of get close to the iron door, you feel this strange kind of tug on your chest, and it feels rhythmic almost. And Atta, as you come down, glancing through your soul sight goggles, you can see that the magical energies within this building are increasing with every moment, and tuning in, you can see what appear to be you can see the spectral faces of spirits in that funnel of energy coming down from the ceiling into the center of the building. Yes?
This might be a roll, can I see, is it like a hole in the ceiling? Is it like a focus thing? Or would they still go through even if it was solid, if we interrupted the flow?
So, the center of the ceiling of the roof above you is punctured by vines. The large vines that you know are kind of holding up the ruby keep up above, but it seems that the cracks through the stone that the vines have caused is allowing this spiritual energy to kind of filter through down into this hexagonal building in the center of the cavern. But yeah, it looks like something is channeling that energy directly down. So you're hoping that, you're assuming that whatever the Elysia are doing upstairs is causing this, and that you're really hoping the B team are gonna do what they need to do soon.
I'd like to pick Songbird up if she's the one who tripped up and originally alerted her guards.
Yes, she's red in the face, like her cheeks are flushed, and she's just got this like look of kind of bashful determination.
Are you trying to fuck us?
She...
It wouldn't be out of character.
She grits her teeth and...
You've taken Nephinae's sweet deal as well. She's pulling your strings, And we're your ticket out of here.
She looks at you kind of incredulously, and if you think I'm one to sleep with the enemy, you don't fucking know me at all, Algernon.
I guess I don't. Are you going to buckle up and do things correctly, or are you going to go home and miss out on all of this?
She, like, you can see her lips twitching. She, like, and as she goes to say something, you, from behind you, you hear a metallic footstep accompanied by a... And as she sort of like looks to you and then over your shoulder to Velka, who's arrived behind you, and Velka sort of like joins, like stands alongside you, tilting her head. Songbird says, "It won't happen again." Yes, she is chastised and doesn't want to argue with you about it anymore. But yeah, she kind of cowls her head slightly. And Velka, along with Cavern and Atta, like looks to you all and, "Shall we?" as he looks towards this door.
I'm somewhat tempted to go up and over and drop something unpleasant directly below the beam of where the spirits are.
Yeah.
Do we think that might be a good idea?
What have you got that's unpleasant?
Karen wants to. I've got heavy demolition tools in my. I've declared in my loadout.
Oh my gosh.
Put them
Drop
on the
some
rats.
dynamite in.
Yeah. How would it be feasible to scale this building in any way, shape, or form?
It were, so let me think. It's, the cavern itself is about 6 foot tall. The building itself is probably about 30 foot in height. So it'll take a bit of, like, it'll be a clock's worth of climbing.
Interesting. And if
'cause there's
Frida
no-
tossed me up there,
30 foot over on.
So, like,
right?
now that you're up close, you're able, the five of you are able to kind of acknowledge what what this building is. The stone, what you assume to be a white stone, is surprisingly sort of like smooth and glossy. It's got a bit of sort of like, damp and dirt from being underground for so long. But the stone looks a bit out of time, if anything. It doesn't look like it's been here for, well, at the very least, at least 2 years. You do notice, however, that there are, like here and there are cracks that are kind of originating from the floor up. But up close, you can see that the large runes that you could spy from a distance, up close, the runes themselves are made up of a series of smaller runes, and it's actually very, very finely articulated and delicate in its construction. There are no kind of apertures, there are no windows, there's only seemingly this one entrance, but you notice that on this side of the door frame there would appear to be a number of like physical locks, if you will, things to bar the door from opening. There are, you don't know what the glyphs are, but you suspect that the higher number of glyphs around the door frame would be perhaps a protective conjuration of some sort. And it strikes you that this is get the feeling that this is a prison cell.
Oh.
So maybe let's not blow it up until we know that everyone in that room is guilty, right?
Because presumably it's Turia's prison cell.
So,
But then, do we know that Turia wants out, or is it just, Nephinae using?
She's probably pretty miserable after years of being used as a power source for the Veil.
well, with Velka's question ringing in your ears, shall we? Do you want to? How do you want to enter?
Algernon could go in. Algernon and Frida could go in ahead with their masks.
We've got 4 masks now.
Oh yeah, you do. You could put your little, join us. You could be the other 2.
Yeah.
If I think Atta would happily go for a little climb while other people go in the doors and be...
Maybe if it's... Yeah, that would work. Algernon, Songbird, Catherine, Frida will don masks and cloaks.
And no Velka. Velka come with Atta.
Velka
come
can
with Atta.
watch her for the rats.
Yeah,
That's true.
Velka and Songbird can have, they can have special time together. And then help you, do a little climbing and
Give me a
get
badge
a
up.
bird's eye
Velka's
view.
going to be sitting there going, "Oh, you got told off." So, Algernon's donning mask, Frida's donning mask. Catherine, you suspect that. I mean, either of these masks that are now no longer owned by anyone, neither of them had that much in the way of a snout.
No.
So that might struggle. But Magpie and Atta, you might be a bit of an odd fit for you, but it would kind of go over your schnoz.
Are there any goblin-sized nobility though? Is it strange
not,
that? Yeah.
Not that. So the 2 of them were both Asavar, but
I know, right?
actually, if you're climbing,
Sizest.
I mean, yeah, Magpie, you can definitely mask up. Catherine, I say you might struggle.
Yeah. Do you want me to help you with your plan?
If you want to come
Yeah.
up top,
I can do
yeah,
some.
I would argue that.
come and top with me.
What's the loadout of climbing gear? Because that is a
It's
thing.
2, yeah.
Is
So
it
it would
2?
we would
We
have
would have had
needed
to have declared. I did consider declaring some climbing gear. I did not.
I might then be a bit of a party pooper and say, because of the sheer kind of glossy-esque surface, it would be. By the time you got to the top, I suspect.
Magpie could expend her special armour to use her shadow ability, which allows her to push herself for a feat of athletics
to get up top.
So if you gave me the devastating tools of destruction,
True.
I could.
How's your wreck though?
My wreck is 0.
Maybe.
Although we're not getting a bird's eye, maybe you could just be outside the front door and we can signal you with a word or a shouted phrase or a...
I guess part of me also kind of wants to better understand these runes and see whether they can be used to our advantage in a way. So I think staying on the outside
Do a
might
bit
be
of studying, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Frida shouts cowabunga.
Kind of reverse engineer these runes in some way.
Okay. So who's going in through the front door?
So yeah,
Algernon,
masking.
Frida, Magpie. Or are you holding back with
Kevin,
Songbird
you could
and
just go in
Velka?
and do the whole well, I'm a dragon scent, of course I'm coming.
Oh look, my divine turned me into a dragon scent. Oh how great. Yeah, I was looking at the fine disguise kit, but I don't know if that's going to help me.
No, but changing scale colour is one thing. isn't it?
Like-
I will stand outside.
Okay, you'll
I'll stand
be
outside,
with Velka and
Don't
Songbird.
worry, we'll get you in that room shortly because we're very
Well.
subtle.
Also, either Velka or Songbird could go in with Jarl.
Yeah,
That's
why
true,
wasn't
yeah.
Songbird come in?
Yeah,
in a
probably
mask?
Songbird.
Okay, so
Velka's
Songbird come in,
Velka's a bit
Velka will stay.
conspicuous.
So, yeah. There's a
bargain bin
oddly
bar.
positioned mask with behind it. Okay, so Songbird will come in with you. She will leave the marionettes outside with Catherine and Velka. Right. In which case, as Songbird, Magpie, Algernon, and Frida, you kind of step in round this kind of large, heavy, metallic door. You find yourself in this hexagonal building, approximately, 40-ish foot across, and the same kind of runic inscriptions you saw on the outside are repeated on the inside, but this time they're kind of inlaid on metallic, these kind of bright brass-like metallic strips that run from floor to ceiling. The floor underneath is also made of the same kind of polished marble-like stone that the walls are made of. For all intents and purposes, for you all to picture this, you have entered in through the southern wall, like the south of this hexagon, and to your left and right on the east and west corners there are kind of dual flights of stairs up to walkways that extend into the centre of the room, approximately 20 feet above the floor. As you enter, a number of figures wearing silver masks turn to regard you all, and you have very good reason to suspect that these are the gathered Lodge Reticent. Intermingled in their number are, dwarfing the majority of them, are large, broad-shouldered, black lacquered armoured figures who also turn to regard you with gold faceplates and glowing red gemstone eyes.
I'm going to lean into Algernon and just, like, at the side of my mouth whisper, I'm not very good at hobnobbing with poshos.
Why don't you keep an eye on the blackguard then? I'll do the hobnobbing for both of us.
It's hard to fucking miss him.
As you scan, you notice that on the, as you're seeing it, on the right walkway, so extending from the eastern wall, on the platform, on the walkway that reaches into the centre of the room, is a slender figure in a fine purple dress. Her crystalline left arm kind of glowing in the lights of the room, and Nephinae kind of looks towards you and spies you, Algernon, wearing this silver rat mask that you've just had her create. But the light that's reflecting off her crystalline arm is red, and the red glow comes from the centre of the room, as hovering about 20 feet off the centre of this hexagonal prison cell, surrounded, wrapped in spiked chains, surrounded by rotating concentric rings that remind you of an astrolabe, is a large crystalline structure. And as you peer, you just about make out what appears to be half a face and a shriveled hand. And Algernon, you recognise the woman encased in this crystalline chunk as Turia Valimar. And Atta, even
I'm outside.
Of course, no. And those of you who are inside, you can feel the arcane mana emitting from this crystal heart-shaped block that's hovering in the centre of this hexagon. It's throwing out red light throughout the room. And Algernon, you just about make out the eye of Turia turn to look at you as well. And Nephinae, her voice echoing off the walls of this place, says, "It's good of you to join us, Algernon, though I only remember the invite being for one."
So from downstairs I sort of do a little bow And then I want to walk up to the level where she is to actually properly have a conversation with her.
Well, as you go to move towards her, you all hear a voice ripple through your minds. They have deceived us. And it's the same voice that you heard from the rats in the prison break job. And Cavern, you hear the sounds of chittering growing again. And Turia's eye, one good eye, sort of like turns into as much of a frown as she can, with the rest of her face crystallized. And you realise that this crystalline growth around Turia seems to be emerging from her. She is the source of this wild arcane crystal growth. And this certainly isn't how you remember her just over 2 years ago during the war. But the chains and bindings seem to be almost shaping it into this heart-shaped appearance. But as you've kind of taken a few steps to head towards Nephinae, you just about make out that behind Turia, floating in a similar manner about 20 feet off the ground, with stone bracelets of a similar material to the stone structure around you, is Devira. And then her head lolls as if she's in some sort of trance, but you can see her mouth moving of its own volition. And as with every kind of inflection in Devira's speech, you feel this thrum of energy emitting from Turia. And yeah, the sound of "we have been deceived," you feel this pulse of energy as the swarm begins to surge a second time. And Nephinae tuts. "A shame," she says, and in the uniform, the Blackguard turn and raise their halberds to look at the four of you. And they step forward in unison, and you see the lodge kind of standing around, a bit worried as the Blackguard mobilise and begin moving towards you.
Oh boy.
I would like to introduce you all.
Oh my god.
Which clock is this?
But it's got so many segments.
It's an 8 clock.
To the defeat the Blackguard.
Why has it got 8? Why do you hate us?
I would also like to introduce you
Oh no.
Oh no.
to the second swarm clock. I think we should take a break there. So, as our crew find themselves face to face with Turia and her defenders, or Turia Nephinae and her defenders, we will see what happens and how this story concludes. If you are interested in seeing this conclusion, well, first of all, we need to hit the like button. Comment down below on, let's get a percentage chance of survival. As this cohort, this small legion of Blackguard begin their approach. And yeah, to see the legitimate finale of the Explorers of Elsewhere Campaign 2, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications when we release new videos. They're coming out super frequently, and I wouldn't want you to miss them out. So, thank you for watching. Thank you all for playing the first half. We'll see you in a bit. Bye 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 bye.